Right guys, a little bit of a different video today, and this is a 2025 guide on how to get sober without the use of Alcohol Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. And I do apologize if it's a bit noisy. I'm just in Bali and it's rainy season at the moment and it is absolutely hammering down outside. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first question is the most important question, and I talk about this in my course. It is, why do you want to get sober? This is the real reason it's going to stick the accountability to the result that you want. Now, if you were doing this for somebody else, I'm going to stop you right here, and I'm going to tell you you're wasting your time. You're probably thinking, why am I wasting my time? Well, look at it this way. If you were doing it for a girlfriend or a boyfriend, then if they were to leave you in the future, then would you still stay sober? I mean, in the past, I've had relationships where I have said to myself, I'm going to quit alcohol for this person. It never worked, which leads me to believe that this won't work for you. The only time I've ever actually got sober with a 100% record is when I finally decided myself that I was going to quit for me. Now, a little bit of a backstory. This happened over 4 years ago. I was in Australia at the time. I worked as an electrician. I was in the outback and I was staying in a caravan park, which was accommodation which was supplied by the electrical company. And me and this Irish guy had been on it since Friday. It was Sunday afternoon. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was Masvidal and Kamaru Usman in the UFC. Sunday afternoon, and we were going at it again hard, and I just had this overall sense of anxiety, and I just looked at my friend and I said, I can't do this anymore. I said, I'm done, no more drugs or alcohol. And he just kind of gave me this bewildered look to say, yeah, I've heard that one before, but I was serious. I was actually done at this point. I mean, you know, I was 30 years of age, so I'd been partying since the age of maybe 16 years of age. So that's 14 years. That's a long time. And me and my friend actually have a joke about we've got a PhD in getting on it. So, you know, that was it. The thing that struck me the most is that I didn't want to end up a loser. And I think when you have something as profound as that come up in your head, that's the only reason that's going to make you stop. So for you, I don't know what that awakening will be, but there will become a point in every man's life, well, I hope so, where he looks at himself in the mirror and he thinks what he's doing right now isn't serving him anymore. So that was my experience of wanting to quit alcohol and drugs for good. For you, it may be something bad's happened. You may have got caught drink driving and lost your job. That's a good enough reason to quit, because if you lose your license, you're not going to be able to do your job. You won't be able to pay your mortgage. Or maybe it's that you've almost come close to losing your job or your driving license and you've got lucky and you don't want to tempt fate again. So realizing if you don't quit, you'll end up average or even a loser. That was, for me, I just had this thing. I turned 30 and I thought, you know, where is my life going? It's not going the way I want to go. Another way might be a health scare. So you might be a little bit older now. When we're in our 20s and 30s, we don't think about health too much. But as we get older, health is definitely one reason to quit. I mean, alcohol is one of the main reasons for high blood pressure, which causes heart attacks, causes liver damage. It's not good. The older we get, the more we need to look after our health. Okay, so once we've come up with a valid reason of why we want to quit alcohol, then the next step is to actually make it happen. Now, this is in order of what I did to achieve the result that I have got. which is over 4.5 years sober. So the first thing I did after telling my friend that I was done and I was out of the drinking game, I took to Facebook at the time and I posted on Facebook something along the lines of, "That's it, I'm done, no more drugs or alcohol for me." And I don't have my Facebook account anymore, and I wish I could because I could put a screenshot up. But I had loads of people comment on it, loads of likes, and basically what this did was it just reaffirmed to me if I didn't stick to my word, then I would look like an absolute idiot, and people would just not have trust in me. I think posting on social media is a great way to say, look, this is what I'm going to do, and hold me accountable. Keep asking me how it's going, because I know myself, if I've posted and people keep asking me how's the sober journey going, if I decide one day I'm going to break that sobriety, I'm just going to feel like an idiot when someone asks me and I say that I went out on the weekend and drunk. Now, I've not personally used this one myself, but make $1,000 bet with someone. Now, if you are one of the higher earners who watches my channel, then $1,000 isn't going to be much to you. And I suppose that's like a rich person getting a parking ticket. They don't really give a shit. They're just going to park their car outside Harrods without a parking ticket, and they'll just pay the ticket because they can't be asked to pay for parking. A £400 ticket's not going to bother them in the slightest. But if $1,000 is a lot of money to you, then that is going to be worth sticking to. Now, once you've posted on social media and you've made your bets, just go ghost, because the truth of the reality is no one really cares, and a lot of people actually want you to fail anyway. Like, a lot of people out there will support your decision and they'll say, "Oh yeah, well done, Ben, you're quitting alcohol, I hope it works for you." But the truth is, if you're hanging around people who drink and take drugs and you've done that all your life, when you are trying to better yourself and you're trying to get away from that, people look at you and they see a reflection of what they should be doing, but they just don't have the know-how or the courage or desire to do it themselves. So they're trying to like pull you back. They want you to be that person that they've known you always to be, which is quite sad, really. And I've made a couple of videos on this. When you do actually stop drinking, you will go through a lonely chapter. Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozy, people I follow quite closely, they've talked about the lonely chapter. It is true. I'm currently going through it at the minute. Obviously, I've built this business and this YouTube channel, and it is predominantly around not drinking and not doing drugs. And all my friends before did that. And obviously, of course they did. I did the same as well. So a lot of people are going to find it hard to see you change because they know they should be doing the same. But change isn't easy. It is hard, and you will go through a lonely chapter. Next up is number 3. What will you do with your free time? Now, you're going to have a lot more conscious time with your thoughts, and you're going to have a lot of weekends in on your own. Waking up early because you want to go to bed early. I mean, when you're going out on the weekend and you're taking drugs and you're drinking, you know, sometimes you're not getting home till 2 a.m. Sometimes you're not getting home till Sunday when you've gone out on Friday. So, you know, going to bed at 9 p.m. because you're just naturally tired, and then waking up at 6 a.m. because that's just the natural time to wake up. You're going to have a lot of time in your hands, and you're just going to be thinking, what am I going to do? And this is going to lead you to feel a little bit uncomfortable as well, because, you know, you need something to fill that time up with. Me personally, there was no running away from myself. As soon as I stopped drinking, I was fully conscious, fully aware of my life. I looked in the mirror. I saw the person that I was. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with my finances. I wasn't happy with my job. I wasn't happy with my relationship. A lot of things needed to change. And when we're dying with hangovers and come downs and then going back out and then getting drunk after a bad week of work, a bad week of work, we don't have time to process these thoughts and feelings, and we definitely don't have time to change the situation that we're in. So you're going to have a lot of uncomfortable conscious time. It is a double-edged sword, but it's a double-edged sword I'm glad I've got hold of, because, you know, being almost 35 now, where would my life be if I continued the way I was? I mean, I would probably be looking a lot older because alcohol and drugs ages you. I'd probably be a lot dumber because it kills your brain cells. I'd be a lot unhealthier, and my finances wouldn't be where they are today. So, you know, you're going to have a lot of free time. You're going to be very conscious of where your life is at the moment. But it's a good thing. You know, just embrace it. Just sit there. Just take it all in. Understand that you've made bad choices in the past. That's all in the past now. The only thing you can do is focus on the present moment. You can make real change now. And I promise you, when you commit to sobriety and you really look at your life and you really ask yourself, where do I want to go? And you take them steps to get there, that's when the magic happens. It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, where am I now? I'm 4.5 years into the journey, and I'm very much still working through a lot of shit, which was caused in my 20s. And they say don't have regrets. I do have regrets. But bloody hell, imagine I'd got to 50 and I'd had these regrets. You know, that would have been a lot worse than 30. You know, on the grand scale of things, depending on your age, you could be 40, you could be 25. You know, having these regrets at 60, stopping drinking at 60, I know it's still a good thing, but you've got less runway to change your life. So the earlier you change, the better. Don't ignore it. Okay, so that was the first half of the 2025 guide to getting sober. Now, I didn't want to give it to you all in one go because, you know, when we read a book all in one day or we do a course all in one day, it's hard to really meditate over the answers that we've got. So I would advise to you, go back over this course again, really look at the questions and actually write the answers down, especially why do you want to get sober? Really write it down and really get to the root cause of it. You know, there's obviously a reason that you've been searching how to get sober into YouTube. It hasn't just magically popped up. You know, you've probably got to a point in your life where you realize alcohol isn't serving you, and it isn't. It's a poison. It does nothing for you. It may make you feel good for 2 hours when you go out and you feel socially lubricated and you can go up to that girl or boy and just say something and not be consciously aware of feeling like an idiot. But the truth is, alcohol does nothing but take away from you. In episode 2, we will cover handling social pressures, your vision for the future, why you don't need Alcohol Anonymous, and how to handle triggers. And a very important one in there is a vision for the future. I mean, that is basically going to keep you committed to sobriety, because without a vision for the future, you're just going to want to revert back to your old ways. If you don't have a goal big enough to stay fresh and wake up early for, then you might as well just keep drinking, because you're going to get bored. You're going to want to pick up the bottle. You're going to want to do the cocaine. So we will go over this in episode 2, and I will be releasing this in a couple of days' time. So thanks for watching.